So I've been running an AI agency for a little over a year now, and we just landed a deal that could change honestly everything about business for us, and it's something that I never thought I would land. So today I'm going to document it, share everything around what this uncommon opportunity is, how we landed it in the first place, and then obviously all of my feelings, my learnings, and my business expectations leading up to this opportunity. So if you're interested at all about how people are running their agency in the space or just AI in general, this one might actually be interesting for you. First things first, we need to talk about what the opportunity actually is. And I'm a very high believer in opportunities coming from problems. So I'm going to talk about the context of everything, how it came from a problem, and what you need to know so I can talk about what the opportunity actually is. If you haven't watched any of my videos and you don't know what we do, we pretty much sell AI services to business owners in the insurance broking space. Very easily, one of the most niched industries that you could probably get into these days because it is a very different sort of way of doing business to other, I guess, mechanisms. If, in the context of how we got in there, we pretty much wanted to solve sales systems for salespeople in general, stumbled upon, the model of helping business owners around this space cut down their admin so that they could sell. So it's been a road for us to really look at these issues and deliver them in the best way over time. So it's been an iterative process, and I'll talk a little bit about what that has provided us, or what that's given us in terms of learnings in a minute. And then in terms of the sales process challenge, which is the main thing about what this opportunity has come from, we officially niched down into this space probably about 8 months ago. And over time, we started progressively looking at this sales process challenging. So not only were these super big admin tasks that we had to do a lot of scoping and discovery in, and the technical feasibility within the circumstance of the market and the way people actually work within New Zealand. Simple things like not even being able to connect to API systems and so on. But the core thing that this, industry has, that no other industry has, is ultimately the FAP and the FSP licenses. So pretty much what these things are licenses that you give to different levels of brokers or financial advisors to some extent, that gives them the, authority to be able to sell their services. Now, typically, when you sell to a small to medium-sized business, which has always been the scope of things within the AI agency space, no matter how, niche or general you are servicing these SMBs for the most part. Typically, you'll be expecting to solicit this one business that has the brokers, or in this case, they're, at a general sense, the employees of that business who use your system, which means that you don't solicit to these individual employees. You go all the way up to the business, you look at talking to the decision makers, and then from there, once you sell them, the business already adopts your solution, which means that these people under here will be using it. In, insurance broking terms, it just means that you have an FAP license, which is the owner of the entire licensing group, which is the business. And then the individual brokers themselves, the advisors that have their own FSP licenses underneath of that business. So it's two kind of like classifications of this license, you could think of it, that dictate their level of authority to be able to buy something like this. And so originally in this market of New Zealand, this is what we were targeting. And if you could think about it at scale, it would just be like this sort of scenario over and over and over again across all of these different brokerages. That's like what we thought the idea was going to be, right? What we didn't see, however, is that in fact, you have these underwriting agencies that have shareholdings in other small to medium-sized businesses. And what this means is that instead of the individual SMBs having the say in terms of whether or not they purchase your service, really who need a pitch is going to be the bigger guy, the one who owns or would have other shareholdings within that business. And so what the deal was for us is essentially one huge corporate entity that had the FAP for all of these individual brokerages, which actually meant that instead of these guys having the say, we were having these corporate negotiations where this guy here is the one that we were going to have to pitch, and these ones underneath them were simply going to be the users of them. So pretty much a step above what we were trying to, pitch, and that was going to be the FSP user of our service. which ultimately meant that we had these corporate negotiations, but the price tag that justified them was not corporate. These were SMB level solutions that we were providing, which was our biggest roadblock in terms of providing our services. And so what do? Well, the natural solution to that, the opportunity that arose from that, was getting a deal with a corporate agency. This way, we would be able to have this one single client that we could work under, and as a result, have all of these individual SMBs that we could provide to, with the main contract being solicited to this big guy over here. And that's exactly what we did. And to be honest with you, this is not something that we planned or was in our strategy when we started this. It was really something that fell on our plate, and we just took the opportunity that was given to us based on that being the challenge that we had in the first place. And so what I say in terms of how we did it is actually the learning or the takeaway in hindsight to the situation that we put ourselves under, which was obviously really good. And so this is pretty much my point here, that the bet of going niche beats the hesitation of staying general. And so what I mean by that is that these days you pretty much have what's called like a funnel that goes in the more niche that you go, and it kind of like tilts on its head depending on how specific you go. So let me explain this to you real quick. Usually if you're an everything to everyone agency and you're good enough at what you do from a technical standpoint, you're scoping out these big projects and you're providing the, bespoke services to different people all the time. If that's your business model from day one, then you have no issue actually landing clients. You have the benefit of being, the one-man stop for everyone, and you're trying to do everything to everyone. You're always trying to pitch your services, so you never really run out of leads. So if you're good enough at being general, obviously it has its, burdens and difficulties, but from a, lead perspective, you never really run out. And that's why it's like, if you get it right, you are on the green at the top of this funnel here in terms of people that you can reach. In the middle ground here is where I kind of see a gray area, which is you're not specialized enough to be valuable to one specific market because you haven't done it enough times. But at the same time, you're not general enough to have the, technical capability to cater all of these people up here. So Liam Otley actually talks about this in one of his very early videos, but pretty much the middle is where you can't price things right, you can't have repeatable offers, and you're not very broad to be able to cater to many people. You lose deals because of this. And so in this middle ground here is where you actually lose out. And this should be clear to anyone in this AI space now, where creators and people who have been early adopters have been in this for years talking about this sort of thing. This is no surprise to people who are getting into it now. So that place in the middle there is the red zone. And then you just have the niche side of things, which I highlighted in blue here, which pretty much means you are going into these super high volume, repetitive, level of solutions, where in our case, we are simply looking at admin solutions. And I'll talk a little bit about why admin solutions are so good in a minute. But what we've done is we've gotten so good at delivering these admin solutions to this one ICP that in reality, this, image here of a very niche down funnel, what it does is it actually branches out into many different things and many different opportunities. So it's like you have a whole new spectrum that is opened up just from you having this specialization for one specific ICP. And for us, what that looks like for insurance brokerages is we have an exact roadmap where we first take them down one core deliverable that we know we can deliver within 2 weeks. And then we have a second deliverable that we know will be the second biggest problem. And the way we lay that out is we first solve the supply constrained problem, which is what 90% of all brokerages have. And then following that, we go up and do a demand constrained problem. So we solve for making sure they have time first. And then once time is freed up, we account for them making sure they make the most money per customer, or make the most money per lead, etc. And so what this gives us is the exact roadmap to do everything. And these admin solutions is specifically our core offer. When someone works with us, this is what we specialize in, which is why this levels of different delivery and levels of service quality actually branch out into a whole new spectrum that you can provide to your clients and completely beat out on all of these competitors up here. So by being able to push down further and further into a niche component of your AI agency service model, we actually open up this opportunity or open up this door for a big provider, which is I guess, dwells within this side of things, if they didn't see us as the absolute expert for providing solutions for all different brokerages within our country and ultimately Australia as well, then we would never have gotten hired in the first place. But when we looked at it as how far can we keep pushing into this specialization zone, it opened up this whole new branch of opportunities that is only available to us. And so as a second learning to all of this, I need to talk about how good admin solutions have been for us to provide this with so much quality for our clients within the insurance broking space. So there's a few components that admin solutions actually provide when you go up to any business at all, but insurance brokerages are actually the ones who suffer like one of the biggest pain points from it because it's such an older industry, right? But when you supply this to a company and you're able to save them thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, once you say you're going to give them a projected amount of time savings back, the time between you saying you're going to provide something to you actually providing it and this company extracting value from it is enormous. It's really, really quick because the projected amount of time savings that you have looked at through numbers, through hard math, is delivered to them immediately if you are able to manage the change of the team, if you're able to train them, the change management essentially is done successfully, then you have nothing to worry about. The system works and they're immediately gaining time savings back as soon as you implement the system for them. So as soon as day one, that's how they see value. But then on that note, with the projected time savings that give immediate benefit to any brokerage that you help out starting out, what it gives you is reliability. And the reason that something is going to be reliable is that you only have three factors to account for. It's the time consumption that the current team that you're helping out in the insurance broker or whatever is currently spending on that task, the solution that you say you're going to provide to them, so everything is on your end to be able to provide this, and then the training that, again, you provide to the team. There's no external factor of, let's say, like, again, a sales campaign or something like that, where you are dependent on the lead's response or the lead's decision to book in or not book in or to buy or not to buy. It gives them a little bit more reliability when you approach something from an admin perspective. So with that being said, what this gave us, these components of speed and reliability, is actually credibility. Because we were able to provide value so quickly for people, we are able to project it repeatedly across different brokerages because they work the same, because we are very niche down. We have these three components that we account for every single time. Therefore, we gain credibility, which these guys up here 100% value when they look for a worker that's going to supply value to all of these businesses that we would potentially work for. And essentially this one client who supplies us with unlimited work, suddenly it works. And very easily, in simple terms, what this means for us in terms of business value or business growth or whatever you have it named, is our CAC is equal to exactly $0, because we have one client who supplies us unlimited amount of work. So this company owns tens, if not hundreds of brokerages around the country and around Australia as well, which we can expand to. And who knows how much this could actually benefit us in terms of our cost per acquisition when looking to expand and looking to scale our company. So I made another video around how Claude Code is a core part of how our business works and how we provide solutions. This is a layer on top of how we essentially provide solutions really, really quickly. Because if we are selling them really quickly, then we are essentially not constrained on either the sales side or the supply side, the delivery side of things. And so obviously it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. There's definitely going to be difficulties with the model that we're trying to lead and how we're trying to scale the company. But on paper, this looks like a really appealing business model to lead forth with and pretty much take this opportunity and run away with it. So now we're definitely in it, and I guess this is something that not many people like to talk about because they only talk about after it's gone right, or whether it's gone wrong, they don't really mention. So that's pretty much what I'm going to try to do right now. It's like the documentation video after all, but this deal is going to be big for us, and we're starting out just dipping our toes in with one project for one specific brokerage, but it will be our main focus for this month, and we will try as much as we can to take it and everything that we can learn from it, apply to everyone else. And this is exactly how we're going to scale this model to $60,000 a month and beyond. it does put a lot of pressure on us and I guess our developers to deliver this in the best way possible, because we don't know how this is going to work as a business engagement. We don't know how it's going to work from a technical perspective until we actually look into exactly what's under the hood. But all we know is that this is part of the journey, and a lot of it is uncertainty, but from a high level, we look at these things and we see the opportunity, and I guess what we have to do is just dive into it head first. A lot of times I definitely overlook the fact that we do have that credibility within the space because we've been so focused within it. And what we used to say way back in the day, a few months ago, is we have to make the most out of being niched. If we're not valuing the benefits of being niched, we might as well be general. And a part of it is the fact that you can have these relationships and that credibility that I was talking about, which is so powerful before, that we can actually go into different businesses within the same sector, within the same industry, and just plug and play these solutions that when we do that at this scale now, that we're going to like a kind of like a corporate perspective or scenario, we really just have to like fill in the shoes and recognize that we're one of the only people that can do what we do within the space, and just embrace that and go head first with that in mind.